Christina and you're watching Proud Book Lion. And today I'm going to do the first time book tag. I've forgotten the exact name, but Cav made this amazing tag and they actually tagged me in it. I'd highly recommend you check out Cav before watching this because they make some of the most amazing videos ever and they're always so eloquent and well spoken. I just can't. They are absolutely amazing and I really think you should check out their videos. But yeah, this tag is basically you answer when was your first time, and Cav told us that you could add more first questions if you wanted to, so I believe I have 5 that I'm going to answer today. So first was first time reading a book, and it's not like first time you read a book ever that you remember, it's more like a book that you remember reading when you were really young. At least that's how I interpret it. So I have a Pippi Longstocking book, and I believe this was the one I read. It's simply easy to read. I believe it was about 5 or 6. I learned to read from my mother before I went to school, so I was already reading when I went to school, which was amazing and I'm really grateful for it. But yeah, I just love Pippi Longstocking. I love all of Astrid Lindgren's books, but especially Pippi Longstocking. Maybe it's the braids, I don't know, but she is a feminist icon though, so yeah, I really loved it and I just remember reading it and thinking that I was Pippi and that I could do the things that Pippi could, and yeah, I just have lovely memories reading Pippi Longstocking when I was young. And when I read it nowadays, I still get those same memories, which is amazing. Now I'm going to have a first time I read in English. So I read primarily in English nowadays, but that wasn't the case for just a couple of years ago. So I tried reading English previous to when I actually began. I read English in school because I had to, and I had attempted a couple of books, but when my lovely friend Linnea invited me to go to London with her and her mother, I bought an English book. I actually bought an English crime novel because I was into crime novels at that time. I still am, but even more than I am today. And yeah, since then, which was in 2014, I believe. Since then, I mainly read in English, and I'm very grateful for that because at least I think that when you read books in their original language, you do understand more, and I feel like you connect with the author and the story even further when you read the translated copy. At least that's my opinion. So that book was Sacrificed by Paul Finch. Author, or the main character, I believe the author is as well Scottish. So there was a lot of Scottish slang that my best friend Linnea didn't even know, and she went to an international school, so she spoke English very well, way better than I did, and she didn't even know this slang, so I was fairly confused, and this book could have been the one that prevented me from ever reading English books again, but instead it started the revolution of me reading English books. So I'm very grateful for the book. Then I have the first time reading my favorite series, and that is actually City of Bones by Cassandra Clare, or it's the beginning of the Mortal Instruments or all the Shadowhunter Chronicles. I count them all as a series, and the fun thing about this little fella is that I actually read it in Swedish in 2013, I believe, and I thought it was okay. I didn't know that it was actually a series, so it wasn't until I found BookTube and Christine that I understood that it's actually a series, because it did not get translated to Swedish until after 2015, which is when I found BookTube. So I actually found it by Christine again, and I decided to try to read them again in English because I had vague memories of the book of kind of enjoying it. So I read them all in English, and I bought first City of Bones and then City of Ashes, and then it was a tedious wait for the rest of the series to actually come. And the most fun thing, no, but not fun for me, but the annoying thing is I bought all of the Mortal Instruments, and then I realized that I had to wait with reading City of Heavenly Fire, so I bought the Infernal Devices. There was a lot of waiting, and especially as it takes about 2 to 3 weeks for me to receive my books. The wait was unbearable, but I did wait, and I just love the series, and I don't have a lot of memories surrounding it, just because when I actually got the books, I read them in just a couple of days. But I remember the waiting period between the books, and I do remember the book hangovers after Clockwork Princess and after City of Heavenly Fire. Oh jeez. But yeah, I absolutely love Shadowhunter Chronicles, and it's just an amazing series, and if you have not yet read them, please do, at least if you're interested. Then I'm going to add another category. Question is, first time that you read a book that made you bawl, like not cry, but like bawl, like literally bawl your ass out. For that one, I have Codename Verity by Elizabeth Wine, and I just want to say this because you might understand my feelings even more, that some people argue if the characters are in love with each other or not, and I read it as they were in love with each other. So the ending of this book is pretty heartbreaking. I read this during an Easter holiday when I was at my grandparents all alone. Like, my parents weren't there, I was only there with my grandparents, of course. And I remember crying, and I cried, and I kept on crying. I cried for a good 30 minutes. Like, literally bawled my eyes out over this book. So yeah, I think it's the book that has caused me the most tears. Maybe not the most pain, but oh my god, I cried so much when I finished this book and like reading the last couple of chapters. Holy. And then the fifth and last one that I'm going to answer is the first time I read a book that represented me, or that I could see myself in. And I have two, just because I am the way I am. So I have More Happy Than Not by Adam Silvera. It was the first book to like showed me a main character struggling with the same suicidal tendencies that I had, and struggled with knowing himself and their identity, and I struggled with the same, and I just felt represented, and I felt like somebody could see what I was feeling, and it just felt very real, because until then I had read a lot of characters that, looking from their inside, they didn't have a lot of issues like with themselves and inside themselves. It was the outside that made them the way they were, or like they had struggles, but the struggles were like monsters to fight or something like that. I never read a character that struggled with monsters like inside themselves, at least not in the same way that Aaron in this book does. So yeah, I just really love this, and I could really relate to a lot of what Aaron was feeling, so it was just, yeah, it really touched me. And then I have Not Otherwise Specified by Hannah Moskowitz, which was the first book that I read with somebody that is recovering from an eating disorder. I have struggled with disordered eating in the past, or when I was reading this I was just in the beginning of trying to fix my disordered eating and trying to become better, and what Etta really taught me is that you can become better, and if you want to become better, you're able to become better. And I really just needed this, because I'm very sad in one way that I read it when I was still in a kind of disordered mindset, but I'm also very grateful and happy that I read it, because I think now Etta and Hannah would be more proud of me for where I am in my recovery right now, and the fact that Etta is a black bisexual female, she is a bisexual girl that's very confident, and even if I could not relate to the confidence, I could relate to being bisexual, and seeing Etta confident and strong in herself made me feel stronger inside myself, and stronger and more confident with myself, and more content with myself. So it was a very important book, and it represented me on so many different layers, because Etta is bisexual, she's recovering from an eating disorder, and even if she seems confident, she still sometimes doubts herself, and that I could relate to. So yeah, I could relate to so many different things, and to see myself represented, and to see somebody that's actually recovering and that's in a better and healthier mindset, more of the mindset that I am today, that made me feel represented. And that feeling of being represented, I don't know any feeling that's better, actually. You feel so very seen, and you feel so valid, and you feel like an actual human being, and that feeling is something that everybody should be able to feel. At least that's my opinion. So yeah, those were the 5 first that I'm going to talk about, or that I have talked about today. It is a tag, so I'm tagging Kevs from Drowning in Bookland, I'm tagging Kevin from The Irish Reader, and I am tagging Julia. Is your channel Julia Lee Reads? I'm tagging Julia. I'll leave all the channels down below. And thank you again, Cav, for tagging me. I absolutely love this tag. And if you're not tagged and you want to do this tag, you go for it, because I'd love to see your answers to the questions, or to add more questions, because that's totally allowed too. Thank you so much for watching. Your support means the world to me, and I hope you have a great day /night / whatever part is for you. Bye!